What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Warsheep Podcast, where today we're going to be doing a reaction video to modern women are getting what they asked for as more men are going their own way. And this is coming from the channel Men Only. So, y'all go check them out. Subscribe if you're a man. Obviously, they're saying it's men only. So, without further ado, let's shed a little bit of light on this. See what's happening.
Is the sheep preaching hate when it says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf violent? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back, so they said, no, he's teaching hate. He's violent.
This question is for men and men only, okay?
Let me tell you what she means when she says he's just a friend.
Fellas, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're tackling a fascinating topic. Modern women are getting what they asked for as more men are going their own way. We'll delve into the reasons behind this trend, the reactions from both sides, and the implications for the future of relationships. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos. Let's jump right in and explore this evolving dynamic.
The media loves to make it seem like if you're single in your 30s, you're gonna just die this cat lady. But let me tell you something. Dating in your 30s is the SHIT, baby. You know what you want. You know how you want it to be. You know what you want the man to look like, sound like, dress like, act like all the likes. You get it. You've been through it. You can see the red flags coming. You know what it is at this point. And at the end of the day, in your 30s, you're wiser. Your frontal.
One of the biggest things, right, is that, you have to ask the question of the different things she's got done listing. Why? Why are we listing those things? But mostly, you're an attractive woman. Obviously, you look good. Looks like that you're in your 30s, right? What did you do? What was your decision that you made to continue to be single when you're already in your 30s? What did you do? Were you chasing a career? Were you trying to were you trying too hard? Like, were you being too picky in in the earlier stages as a woman? Were you just not really concerned about being somebody's woman, like, during that time? Or you just kind of looking to live your own life and do your own thing? Pretty much what they've been promoting, right? Like, just to go and sow your royal oats or your wild oats and chase your bag, right? So, but this is what you see all too often is now we're starting to, I guess, make this more of a trend, trying to make it trendy, trying to make it more acceptable, right, for women to reach this age and not have like something solid, right, to be able to say, hey, I'm married with children, which that's the ultimate goal, because the prime ages to be married with children, you should be looking right out of high school. I would say anything between 18 to 24 for a woman to be looking. And then for men, of course, 18 to 24, you should be looking to build your career before you go into getting a wife and children. So I mean, my thing is that she's making it really seem more of a acceptable thing. Like, it's more like really like a fun, trendy type of thing. Which I really disagree with that. Like, she should be really encouraging younger women to pursue a relationship, which she's encouraging older women around her age, around 30s, that is okay. You know what I mean? And or whatnot, which is, it is what it is, but you can never defeat father time. You can never defeat the father time. And for women, of course, they always are going to have that biological clock, and you can't overcome that or defeat it. I mean, most women will start to stop being fertile at around a certain age. That don't count for every woman, right? But majority of women, they have around a certain age where you're not as fertile, or you can't be. And if you're looking for a man who you want to take you on as a wife, then typically they usually are wanting to build their own family legacy, right? They want to have children. So let's get back into this video.
Globe has developed fully. You're just mentally, physically, energetically, spiritually, so much more in tune with who you really are.
Now, everything she just named and mentioned is telling me that it's going to take her longer to find a match, because she's going to be even more picky, even more things to consider before making a commitment to a man, because women got a lot of emotions, and they do operate based on emotions. So a lot of times when they see a man who checks off majority of all the boxes, it might be a few things that maybe he doesn't dress very well, maybe he don't articulate his words very well, or something along those lines that'll deter her from wanting to commit to that man, right? And which, of course, it just takes her longer to be able to figure it out. Which, most younger women tend to find a guy, and it might be a little easier for them to pick them. But nowadays it's changed a lot, so there's no real telling. But let's.
It's just a different world. It's a different world. So if you are lucky enough to be single in your 30s, you can find a partner for life because you have done the work. And if you're in your 20s, if you're in your teens, and you feel like there's some kind of biological clock, the clock is ticking and ticking and talking, baby, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Do the inner work. Get therapy. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Fall in love with yourself before.
Now, I don't disagree with that. Like, you do need to do the self-work. You do need to understand yourself, know yourself as a person, period, men and women. Falling in love with self, understanding what your likes and dislikes are very important. Don't disagree with that at all. Like, especially as a young lady, I think that learning self and self-awareness is important, but also learning what man you're choosing to be with. But you need to be precise, and you need to be ready to go, like, especially when it comes to marriage and having children. And learn your man, because whoever your man is, that's who you're going to become. That's who you are. That's who you're going to adapt to. And there's nothing wrong with that, because when you're in a relationship, you're always going to adapt to each other. You're going to be in constant change. There's nothing wrong with wanting change within your relationship with someone, or desiring it. It just depends on what standards you're holding up against each other, and if they're reasonable, right? So it's very reasonable for somebody who lacks emotional maturity for you to want them to be a little bit more emotionally mature to be able to be with you in your space. So there's nothing wrong with that. So, I mean, we're constantly learning and growing. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that point. Man, learn yourself, know yourself. If you're in the middle age, let's say between 20 and 30, around 25, you should know what your likes and dislikes are, what you enjoy, what type of music you like, what type of food you like to eat, things like that. If you're not committed to a man yet, you should know those things so you can be able to communicate those things. So
before you find someone out of desperation or out of whatever the hell.
Here's the thing. If you notice a woman using the word like repeatedly in every sentence, that's a red flag. It might sound superficial, but it often indicates a lack of maturity and self-awareness. Here's the thing. Communication is key in any relationship, and how someone speaks can reveal a lot about their mindset and maturity level. Now, let's get real for a moment. Would a woman in her 30s or 40s say she's getting more or fewer marriage proposals than she did in her 20s? Probably fewer. And deep down, she knows it. The reality is, as women age, the dating pool changes. Men are often looking for younger women, and women who once had an abundance of attention in their youth might find that attention dwindling. The wall is undefeated, as they say. Time waits for no one, and it's a harsh truth that many women have to face. The choices made in their younger years, focusing on career, rejecting stable partners, or indulging in short-term flings, can lead to regrets later on. And what's left? Often, it's the realization that those years can't be recaptured. So, what happens next? The reality of potentially living alone sets in, and many start thinking about the kind of cats they're going to choose for companionship. It's a common joke, but there's some truth to it. Let's break this down further. Many women in their 20s enjoy the thrill of dating, often rejecting men their age for being broke or not successful enough. They aim for the top 1%, the older, more established men. But as they hit their 30s and beyond, those same men start looking at the younger pool. It's a cycle that leaves many women frustrated and questioning their life choices. Ladies, here's a piece of advice. Value the good men who come into your life, regardless of their age or financial status. Building a life together means growing together, not waiting for someone to hand you a ready-made lifestyle. Understand that time is precious and the decisions you make today will shape your future. Fellas, be aware of the red flags. If she's constantly using filler words like, it might be a sign that she's not as grounded or serious as you need her to be. Pay attention to her actions and how she treats you. Respect yourself enough to walk away from situations that don't serve your long-term happiness.
The problems with men, they need to raise their standards.
So, just touch on that real quick. He's got some valid points. And with those points are this. Men, and I see it all the time, guys like Leonardo DiCaprio and other, celebrity men who I can name, right, who deal with younger women, and I'm just naming celebrity men because a lot of men who aren't celebrities, who are wealthy or, I guess well off, deal with younger women. And, a lot of people kind of throw shots at them or shade at them because they're dealing with younger women. I'm just curious if they're of age. I believe that that's pretty much fair, but also there should be a limit, right? So if you're like 55 and you're dealing with an 18-year-old, then you might want to consider what you're doing, right? Because I don't think that you should be doing that. But to each their own. If she's of age, she's legal age to be able to be with you, then that's up to you. But men tend to deal with women who are younger because there's less issues, less baggage, less trauma, less things that they would have to deal with. A lot of the times their body count might be a bit lower, so they might want to deal with them based on that. Same thing when she's talking about, you having more self-awareness, the frontal lobe being developed. Well, a man don't really want, typically they view that as having more problems or issues, right? Because a woman's going to be not as cooperative, as she could have been in the younger years, as well as imprinting on them, having that pair bonding opportunity, right? To where she's bonded with this man and, on a whole different level, right? To where they can where it really makes a difference. That way she's like not attention seeking, right? Or disrespecting him or disrespecting his boundaries. So I think we pretty much have gathered that's the reason why men look or seek for younger women, especially it'll be more fertile, right? So, and then they got more time ahead of them to be able to help to raise children, things like that, right? So, when I see people, talking down on these guys who are dating younger women, but they're of age, I mean, y'all gotta really let that shit go because they of age. So let's keep it real. They of age. They should be able to be out here dating whoever they feel like they would like to date, right? Typically, they probably should date somebody who's a bit older. because the younger guys are still getting their shit together, right? They're still working and grinding, most of them. So let's be realistic in what we're thinking in that.
No, the problem is that when the sexual revolution happened and everybody decided we're just gonna f- everybody, instead of, look, you're gonna have the best chance for getting a husband between 18 and 24. So nail down the best guy that you can in those years, and before hormonal birth control and abortion, that's what women did. We were very careful about who we let in the gate because the repercussions were extreme and you couldn't just go get a fetus.
I mean, not only that, a lot of women, they wanted to keep them as virgins because there was a bridal price. There was an offering you had to pay for a virgin woman. And typically it was offered up for only virgin women. And that's solely because it's easier to pair bond with them, and they're a little bit more cooperative to what you need them to get done. Not only that, it's mating issues, right? Because if a woman's promiscuous, then it's hard to determine whether the child is truly yours or not. So if she's a virgin, for sure that's your child. So that's a whole nother thing as well. But she's right on point. Like, I mean, what else? There was a whole culture of fuck it, or forget it. Let's go ahead and do whatever we want, or do it thy will. The Aleister Crowley type of mindset when it came to fornication, honestly, to tell you the truth, or whatever. So.
Deletus or whatever. Women were very serious about who they picked. Like, I interviewed my grandma on my channel about how she chose her husband, and she said, well, I thought about, can he support me and a bunch of kids? Is his family nice? Does he believe in the same things as me? What church does he go to? Does he have a good reputation? Now if you ask a girl, like these girls, right, they're like, whoever's gonna plow me hardest in the back of a car is who I'm gonna go for.
First off, nothing has harmed women more than modern feminism. It's been way worse than whatever the so-called patriarchy could have done. Feminism was supposed to empower women, but in reality, it's led to confusion and frustration. Women today don't know how to pick good men anymore. They're caught up in a cycle of unrealistic expectations and contradictory desires. The audacity from modern women saying that men need to raise their standards is mind-blowing. If men actually raised their standards, most of these women would end up alone with a bunch of cats. And guess what? That's literally what's happening. Women are trying to flip the script, claiming they're the ones rejecting men. But the truth is, men have been checking out of this game for a while now. The problem is that non-traditional women want a traditional man. They want a man who will provide and protect, but they don't want to uphold the traditional values that made such relationships work. Women wanted the same sexual freedom that men had, but unfortunately, this has led to a moral decline. Women have become so
Yeah, it's definitely a huge difference, right? Because there is I guess a thought or a belief that you can get the same sort of treatment that you would typically get, or that women who are traditional and who have kept themselves until marriage, virgin women, that all women across the board feel they should get the same treatment or should be treated the same. You know what I mean? But once you go to like a dealership, it's a huge difference from purchasing that new car to purchasing a used car. So, there shouldn't be an expectation of being treated the same across the board, because I think it's a little bit more difficult in this society now to keep yourself or just keep your virginity as a woman, because there's so many different obstacles and encouragement to give it to whoever, just to get it out the way or whatever it may be. And it's not enough people who's encouraging their daughters to preserve themselves until marriage and making it a very important a thing to do, right? It's just more like, hey, go figure it out. You know what I mean? So, which breeds a different type of society, right? But a woman shouldn't act on presumptions, right? That she would be treated the same as she would have been treated if she had kept herself, right? Until marriage, until she found the one that she should have been with, right? Who should have married her and consummated the marriage through taking the virginity. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, this it's definitely interesting now that, you know, when they're talking about a lot of this stuff, there's a thing as to where all of this stems from and goes back to the parents, right? And in the generations, one after another, of course, they started to change over time, but they didn't want the guidance coming from the father and the mother, the parents, as far as who they should marry, who they should date. They didn't want it. They fought against it. They didn't want any of the arranged marriages, courtships, things like that. They didn't want to be treated with respect. So when you know, they start to talk about men who are hypersexualizing them, even though they may dress the way that they dress, which is half dressed, see-through shirts, all this other stuff, but men are hypersexualizing them. Well, you know, they also rejected the guidance coming from proper counsel, and it's a safety in multitude of counsels, right? So that's another huge thing that definitely needs to be addressed within society when it comes to dating and when it comes to women. Really need to go back to doing arranged situations, or at least having the parents or family or father or something really like guiding the young lady or the children through their relationships and picking the proper either wife or husband, you know, to you know, protect them, provide for them, things like that. So
much worse than men in many ways. Women today don't want to admit they are different from men. They try to act like men, but when they end up pregnant, they have no problem terminating the pregnancy to avoid the consequences of their actions. They want fun without responsibility, and this has led to a morally bankrupt society. It's ironic because while feminism was supposed to free women, it has trapped them in a cycle of dissatisfaction and confusion. They chase after careers and independence, but then cry about not finding a good man. They claim to be strong and independent, but then expect men to cater to their every need. It's a never-ending cycle of mixed messages. Men, on the other hand, are done with the drama. They want peace, respect, and a genuine connection. They're tired of being treated as mere accessories to a woman's life. They're looking for women who are kind, supportive, and real. This is why many men are choosing to stay single or look for partners outside the typical dating pool.
Okay, I want to talk about what is wrong with men these days. I just got my hair done, and me and my hairstylist were talking about how frustrating it is nowadays that men...
Yo, every time she talk, man, listen, she got some knockers on her, man. I don't know if she's doing this on purpose, right? Shaking her tatas. I don't know if she's doing it on purpose, but every time she talk, them joints is sashaying. Them joints sashaying back and forth, but
want us to work full
for some reason I think she's doing that on purpose though.
time, and
the shirt was purposely worn too for the video, for video purposes, just to get the views. I bet. How much you want to bet?
also be housewives. Like, what kind of math is that? The math ain't mathing. If I'm working a full-time job and you're working a full-time job...
Listen, there's no way she have to talk like that. The math ain't math, and she doing all that shaking. Okay.
We are splitting all the chores. I'm not cooking you dinner.
Let's start with the basics. There's a natural order to things, and traditionally, women took care of the home, while men provided. It's not about oppression. It's about roles that complemented each other. But things changed when feminism came along. Women fought for the right to work full-time, to be independent, and to compete with men. And guess what? They got it. But now, there's a lot of complaining about the very things they fought for. Ladies, you wanted to do everything, so don't complain about it now. Men never...
Yeah, my dog, he got her on a loop, just shaking her tatas. Like, I wonder how many of y'all was just going crazy in the comment sections about this one, man.
Forced women to compete with them in the workplace. Feminism has brainwashed many into thinking they can have it all without any of the responsibilities that come with it. The reality is that trying to juggle a full-time job, household responsibilities, and maintaining a relationship is tough. Men are not to blame for this. They didn't ask women to step out of traditional roles and into the workforce. And now, many men are saying, we no longer want to be in any relationships. Why? Because modern relationships often come with too much drama and unrealistic expectations. Women today are more trouble than they're worth for many men. Here's the thing. Men want peace, respect, and appreciation. They're tired of being treated like second-class citizens in their own homes. The constant drama, the unrealistic demands, and the lack of appreciation are pushing men away. They don't want to deal with the headache that comes from modern relationships. Women, you fought for independence and equality. You wanted to work full-time and have the same opportunities as men. That's great. But don't blame men when the reality of balancing work, home, and relationships hits hard. Men didn't ask for this. They adapted to the new norms, but it's come at a cost.
This question is for men and men only, okay? Do you think that we care that you have a picture with Obama on your profile picture? Do you think that we care? Let me preface.
Hold on, man. A picture of who? Obama.
Let me just back up a little bit. I am a woman who has a job that pays my rent and my bills and the food that goes on my plate. I do my own laundry, I make my own bed, I read books, I go to the gym, I have hobbies, I have a life. I have a dog that I take care of and I love so much. I have a life, okay? I have my shit figured out. I'm independent as fuck and I've got it under control. So do you think that we care? Oh, my parents have a house in this place and I get to take the PJ wherever I want to go. And you know, I have a job that makes over 6 figures a year, and you know, my American Express card, I can go to Cipriani's whenever. Do you think that we care? Because we do.
First off, what is she crying about? From what I can tell, she's crying about future cats. Yes, you heard me right.
You see how confusing that was? It sounded like a lot of shit that they care about, and then at the end of the day, she's like, "Cause we do." Maybe it's just satire. Maybe that's what this is. She's just trying to be funny. Because she don't want to be alone, and she's got a dog, you know, that she loves, and she wants to love something more than just her dog. You know what I mean? Like she wants something more than just her dog. So I mean, maybe it's just satire. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. I ain't gonna hold it against her, cause yeah, she's like, cause we do at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, so we're gonna see what he's saying about it.
It seems like she's more concerned about ending up alone with a bunch of cats than anything else. This is just too funny. She wants a medal for being an adult, for doing things we all have to do. It's almost like she's seeking validation for basic responsibilities. Let's get real for a second. Women today seem to be crying about everything except what really matters. They talk about independence, careers, and not needing men, but then turn around and complain about being single or not finding the right guy. It's a constant contradiction. Here's the harsh truth. Men don't care about your independence or how much you make. Seriously, newsflash sweetheart, men are not concerned with these things. Women don't seem to care about men's feelings, needs, or desires. It's all about them. They want to be celebrated for being independent, but at the same time, they expect men to cater to their every whim. It's this mindset that's driving a wedge between men and women. Men are too.
But not only do they expect you to cater to their every whim, but also at the same time, those expectations lead them to disrespect you, right? Not have any respect for you, no honor for you, not respecting you in certain ways because you're too willing to, I guess, compromise. You know what I mean? So that's another one of those things, right? Is to where, you know, a lot of them claim that that's what they want, but once they receive what they say they want, they figure they want a man who actually treats them like they ain't shit. You know what I mean? Like they mean nothing to them, right? And then typically a lot of the women respond to those things. So it's like they don't want what they feel they want. They want what they respond to the most. So. And it all just depends. It just depends on what type of female you're dealing with. When you're dealing with them, you'll be able to identify it pretty quickly, just based on asking them one question. Hey, so what do you see? What would you like? How would you? You can ask them a few questions as to where would they want to be within 5 years? Within 5 years, what do they see, their relationship headed in? Something like that. Or what type of relationship would they be in with the man? Like, what would the space look like or whatever? And hearing them talking, hearing what they say, man, me personally, like, met this one chick who was really big into designer wear and all that good stuff. And she's like, yeah, well, I need a man who's going to be making this amount of money because I want to be able to make my money and spend my money on me because my money's my money, right? And his money is our money, right? And then so when you hear those things, those are typically a huge red flag, right? It's time to you find the next exit, because or really proceed with caution, right? Because she wants to make her money and spend it on Chanel bags while you out here grinding to keep a roof over the head, food, and all that good stuff. Things she wants to buy stuff that is like has no purpose or meaning. It just has value to her because she can get other women to give her accolades or praise because she got it, right? And this is what it is. It's just keeping up with the Joneses, but he's got a point in everything he's saying. But let's go ahead and continue this video.
Tuning out because they're tired of the constant nagging and shifting expectations. Let's talk about what men actually want. Men want peace of mind, respect, and a partner who's supportive and understanding. They don't care if you have a high-powered career or a fancy degree. What
That's facts.
matters is how you treat them and how you make them feel. Men are looking for women who are kind, caring, and genuine. Not someone who's constantly comparing herself to others and complaining about life. It's hilarious how some women think they're the prize just because they have a job or can pay their own bills. Guess what? That's what being an adult is. Men have been...
There's some women out here think they're the prize just because they can have children and they don't have any children currently, right? That they can actually give you children and they don't have any currently. Some women think they're a prize just for that reason. I'm like, well, that don't make you the prize. It don't make you the prize at all, because you can be able to do what how many more women do out here. Like, so that means you're competing with all the rest of these women out here who can give the same thing that you talk about. But can you cook? Can you clean? Can you be able to be a great support system? These things are extremely important. I took a poll not long ago on my channel, and the poll was it was three options. It was saying which woman would you rather be with. The first one was a woman with a high body count, right? The second option was a woman who was a single mother with children, right? And then the third option was a demanding woman, a woman who's a power earner, but she's demanding. And the majority of everybody chose the woman with children. And then the next one that was second was a power earner who's demanding. Nobody chose, right? Out of, I believe, 50 people who voted on that, right? No one chose a woman with a high body count. So that should say a lot to you, right? So that should also tell a woman who believes, since she doesn't have any children and can bear children, that she is the prize. That should also tell you that you're not, because a man would prefer to have a woman with children who than a woman who is a power earner and demanding, or a woman who has a high body count. You know what I'm saying? So what makes you a prize as a woman is that you're a virgin, that you've kept yourself, right? Because men have fought and died to be with a virgin woman, or to be able to keep their women as virgins. It's just take a look at the movie Braveheart. You know what I mean? Those men went to war because their women were being violated before they could actually lay with them once they've married them, right? So I'm going to continue to say it. Men would go to war to be sure that their women remain to be virgins. Nowadays, it ain't like that no more, because not a woman is really desiring to be a virgin. It's very slim to none on that particular aspect. So let's go ahead and keep going.
Doing it forever without expecting a pat on the back. So when women cry about how hard it is to be independent, it just comes off as entitled and out of touch. Men are done with the drama. They're done with being made to feel like they're never good enough. They're done with women who want it all but give nothing in return. This is why so many men are choosing to stay single or look for partners outside of the typical dating pool. They want someone who appreciates them for who they are, not for what they can provide. And let's not forget the hypocrisy. Women say they don't need men, but then they're crying because they can't find a good one. They want a strong, protective man, but only if he meets their ever-changing standards. It's a no-win situation for men. They're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
I caught her talking to other men, and she won't get out of my car. Now she's crying. So I caught her talking to other dudes. Oh, wow, that must be sad. God, that must be terrible. Oh.
Hey, check this out. I have definitely experienced this type of behavior, right? Once you call them out on a bullshit, that they start to behave and act just like this, like they're the ones who are going through something. It's a gaslighting type situation where they're trying to flip, or they're trying to get you to be sentimental to whatever they feel they're going through at the time. Now, you know, a woman who's talking to other men, and of course, you know, that's not something that most men would want their woman doing. They would want them to be loyal. So for her to behave and act like this, listen, this is a MO for a lot of these women nowadays, right? I'm not saying all. I'm saying a lot of them have this same sort of motive. So when you start to see certain patterns like this, then you understand that you're on the right track and you need to stand up for your boundaries, right? Don't compromise those.
Oh, man. What were their names again? I love how you said they were just your friends and you were sending them ass pictures. Get the fuck out of my car.
This is a perfect example of why when she says that these dudes are just her friend, she is full of shit. Let me tell you what she means when she says he's just a friend. It means, one, he's the backup plan if something happens. Number two, it means that they have already hooked up and she's keeping him, again, on the back burner so her body count doesn't go up if the relationship ends. The other thing that it can mean is that she basically chose you as her second choice. So if that dude becomes available, she's gonna dump your ass. And lastly, what it also means is that...
So how she's snitching on all y'all. She telling. I like her. She telling. She's snitching on all y'all. All y'all conniving, low down, disloyal, just disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, but she's telling on all y'all, man. She letting it be known, and I respect that. But I'm wondering who her husband is, because you know, if she's on this type of mind frame of thinking, right, which is mature, it's a mature mind frame of thinking. Like, immaturity comes from impulse and emotional states, right? And so when you're feeling a height of emotions, you know, and you're able to make sound decisions, that's based on you being able to be mature despite the circumstances, right? So, like, you know, it's something that should be pissing you off and make you angry. You choose to keep your cool and you choose to navigate through it. You know, you operate in the space of wisdom and maturity. So, but either way, it seems like she has some emotional maturity, right? Which, you know, a lot of women do need to work on their level of emotional maturity and being able to sustain themselves emotionally, because that's the largest thing to overcome a lot of the times with, you know, with everything. So, but she definitely she let it be known. She's snitching heavy.
They haven't hooked up yet. He still wants to hook up. She's kind of interested in it because she's not really interested in you, and you're basically just a placeholder. Stop letting these women tell you that these men are just friends, that there is literally no such thing. And for every single person that comes in my comments saying, oh, it's insecurity, no, not with Snapchat nowadays, not with all these hidden messages that you can hide on Facebook. You need to be cautious, be aware, stop being naive, and not let these women play you. And lastly, let's just remember that she's only crying because she got caught. Not only is that abusive and manipulative.
Exactly. She's only feeling that way because she got caught, yo. And it's just kind of what it is kind of what happens. You know what I mean? Is like I said, when you call them out on the shit, that's when they start digging into that emotional bag. And I'm not too sure as to why. It just happens the way it happens. You know what I mean? It's like really you shouldn't be feeling anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's when they start digging in that emotional bag, man. You gotta stay fortified. Stay fortified. Keep your boundaries, King. Don't allow yourself your boundaries and all that stuff to just diminish just because she got some tears rolling down her face, man. That none of that matters, right? None of it matters. Call her out on her shit. Hold her accountable. Keep it pushing. Keep it P. You feel me?
Manipulative, but what it does is it turns the good men bad. So congratulations on making yet another good man turn bad, where women have no accountability for their actions like this. But what it also does is it ruins it for the rest of the women that are out here actually crying and getting their feelings hurt because men can't decipher the difference between being manipulated and real tears. Okay, bye.
So, let's get into it.
Listen, straight manipulation all day. Manipulation, coercion, just trying to get you to acquiesce. And in the moment that you decide that you want to give her what she's looking for, is the moment that she loses all respect for you. So just keep that in mind.
You've probably heard the phrase, he's just a friend, right? Well, let's be honest here. Sometimes that friend is just waiting for his turn to hit it. It's a harsh reality, but one that needs to be acknowledged. Accountability is like kryptonite for most women. And
they go hard. They go hard on these. What's this channel? Man Only? Oh, man, they going hard. Yo.
The idea of a man needing to go through her phone? That's often labeled as insecure or controlling. But let's break it down. Phones have become more private than private body parts these days. It's crazy to think that wanting to check your partner's phone can cause such an uproar. You're not insecure or controlling if you need to go through her phone. It's about trust and transparency in the relationship. Socrates said it best, "Trust not a woman when she weeps, for it is her nature to weep when she wants her will." Just a friend is a lie more often than not. It's always the one she tells you not to worry about. But here's the kicker. If you, as the man, want to limit communication between her and the friend, you're labeled as controlling or abusive. It's a double standard that's all too common in modern relationships. Women will often play the victim card, saying they need their privacy and independence. But when the tables are turned and men ask for transparency, they're painted as the bad guys. It's a no-win situation. The expectation is that men should trust without question, while women get to set the boundaries and rules.
And that's a no. Absolute not. With a 95% you are not the father rate on the show, Maury, that's a no.
Now, let's talk about accountability. This is where things get really interesting. Accountability is crucial in any relationship, yet it's something many women shy away from. They don't want to be held accountable for their actions or decisions, especially when it comes to their interactions with friends. But here's the thing. Society has conditioned women to believe that they should have their cake and eat it too. They want the benefits of a committed relationship without the responsibilities that come with it. They want the freedom to have male friends, but they don't want their partners to feel threatened or insecure. Men, on the other hand, are expected to be stoic and accepting, no matter what. They're supposed to trust blindly and not ask questions. But that's not realistic. Men have every right to feel secure in their relationships and to set boundaries that make them feel comfortable.
No, but this is literally facts though. Dating apps these days are so
And let's not forget, if she don't respect your boundaries, you need not to be with her. Just, yeah, no. Just be sure that you keeping your boundaries.
Serious, and Hinge used to be like the serious one, not anymore. I deleted Hinge last night and I deleted Tinder earlier. I actually just don't enjoy it at all. It just seems a little bit overwhelming, like just basically just looking at people, like just judging people, and then either having these like meaningless conversations or what you think are quite meaningful conversations and then getting ghosted. or you match with people who just never talk to you, or you get these like hyper horny dudes that just want to fuck you. Back in the day when Tinder started, there was so much value in it because it was connecting us with people that we wouldn't necessarily meet in our friendship circles, and it was exciting. It was just this new and exciting thing. But I feel like since COVID, since there was like a major boom and a major online dating phase, since then it's just become so oversaturated, and the dopamine that we were getting from it initially is no longer there. And so we're just swiping for this dopamine rush, this like, oh, I matched with this person, I got the dopamine fix that I needed. Because anytime any effort is required past a certain point, people lose interest. It is the way it is. I have downloaded Hinge so many times and deleted it so many times for the exact same reason. You can match with the most perfect person on paper, everything's cool, everything, and then the minute it's like, okay, we're having a conversation, crickets. And it's not just me. I don't know a single person who can tell me honestly that in the last 2 years, let's say, they have had a successful relationship form from a Tinder match or a Hinge match. And I'm not talking about like hookups, because that's a different thing altogether. You can literally do that in like 5 minutes and be at someone's house in like 10. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like for the long-term relationship girlies like me. Like, I don't know anyone who's going, yeah, actually I'm in a long-term relationship that started on Tinder or Hinge. And it honestly makes me a little bit sad, because I am a relationship girly through and through. I love being in a relationship. I love love. I love having a companion. But I'm also very happy on my own and very comfortable on my own. I still have my insecurities, obviously, and my doubts about myself, like every single person does. But overall, I'm very comfortable in my own skin and in my own company. But the truth is, I want to be in a relationship. I want a partner. I want to get married. I want to start a family. And I genuinely don't know if I can see myself achieving that in the current society that we are living in. And I know I'm not the only person that feels like this, because I've had this conversation so many times. But the hopeless romantics out here are not having a good time.
What I've noticed about modern women on dating apps is quite revealing. They often go for the great pictures and look.
Well, first, let me say this. I agree with her position on quite a bit what she said. Now, I'm not too sure about the apps, but also, meeting people in person is always a great thing. You know what I'm saying? It's always a great thing. Better thing to meet people in person, talk to them in person, strike up a personal conversation with them, things like that, rather than being on these dating apps. So that always is going to trump a dating app all day long. But are they effective? I mean, I've met people on dating apps. I've met people, and we've had a fulfilling space or relationship, but also at the same time, did it last as long as what I typically would want it to? Maybe not. You know what I mean? I believe longest is probably going to be about 2-3 years maybe, and that's decently long, but that's not even that long. You know what I mean? So she has a point, and if anybody has had anything of a different experience on a dating app to where you guys have been with somebody 5+ years, you know what I mean, and you met them on a dating app, just drop it in the comment section below. Let them know that you guys truly exist, because she says you do not exist. So we'll see if you actually truly exist, right?
Looks, without realizing that all that glitters is not gold. Swipe right on the hottest guy, and you're bound to get some attention. But here's the thing. They're setting themselves up for disappointment right from the start. These women overlook the less attractive profiles, not giving them a chance. They want the chads, the guys with the perfect pictures, the charm, and the swagger. But chads, just like the wall, are undefeated. They're great for a fling, but when it comes to a serious relationship, not so much. Chads are the hit it and quit it type, and these women don't realize this until they hit the wall. The wall, for those who might not know, is a term used to describe the point in a woman's life when her looks start to fade and her dating options dwindle. And even when some women hit the wall, they still don't get it. They continue chasing after the chads, setting themselves up for more disappointment. Let's talk about the mixed messages here. She says she's happy on her own, but at the same time, she wants a companion, a husband. So, which is it? Does she want to be independent, or does she want a partner? It seems like she still doesn't know what she wants. Sorry, sweetie, but men aren't interested in this game anymore. They're not looking to date, get into relationships, or get married. Why? Because they've realized that it's a losing game. They're choosing to stay alone and drama-free. Men are focusing on their own happiness and peace of mind. Here's the reality. Women are getting exactly what they asked for. They wanted independence, they wanted freedom, and now they have it. But along with that independence comes the reality of loneliness. Men have checked out of the dating game because they're tired of the drama, the mixed messages, and the unrealistic expectations. Ladies, if you're looking for something real, it's time to reevaluate your approach. Stop chasing the chads and start appreciating the good men who might not have the perfect pictures, but have the qualities that truly matter. Understand that not every glittering profile on a dating app is worth your time. And men, keep doing you. Focus on your own growth, happiness, and peace. Don't let the drama of modern dating get to you. There's no need to settle for anything less than what you deserve.
When I hear a man talking about how, he only goes 50-50 with a woman and he don't want to pay for nails and it's too expensive and in this economy, how could I and why should I? I'm thankful when they have girlfriends because that just means you are not on my radar for dating.
You don't hear this conversation from men who have their shit together. You hear this conversation from men with the dangly earrings wearing Chelsea boots and...
Now, these women are looking for wife treatment and they've just gotten started. They just hit the radar. They haven't even had the commitment from the man yet. So you're looking for wife treatment, right? Who's been, not only is it wife treatment, but it's wife treatment that's been around for 2+ years at least. You get what I'm saying? That she gets all of that stuff taken care of for her. Like, I think we have an unrealistic mindset when it comes to believing that a man should pay for all of this stuff for you before even taking you out on a date. It's ridiculous. It just is. Even for a guy who's a multimillionaire or wealthy who can actually do it. A lot of them don't. Majority of them don't. You ain't gonna find too many who do, right? And that's just kind of what it is. You know what I mean? Like, or else they wouldn't be millionaires. If they've done that for every woman that they've met, right? That's a lot of cash they're forking out all the time, right? And it's easy. You look at MC Hammer. Of course you can go broke. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, the guy was worth what? Millions, for at least 40 million, plus went absolute broke, taking care of everybody and entourage and everything for, just shoving out money. So I don't think that's the best financial strategy is to do that. You know what I mean? So I think that, a lot of you women need to divorce that mindset and start going out for a nice cup of coffee, right?
I like the dangly earrings.
Not me, baby. Is a epitome of a sassy man.
First off, have you ever noticed how some women never talk about building a future together? It's always about the latest nails, shoes, and bags.
Damn, he made a good point. Like, building a future together, having a conversation about that. Like, why aren't we talking about that? Like, but it's always these type of women there. They usually look the same, are very similar. Like, these two women who are talking right now, they look like almost like twins. Like, they could be family or related. So that's an interesting point that he made right there.
They want a daddy, not a husband. It's hilarious and frustrating at the same time. Women feeling entitled to a man's money will always be funny to me. Men don't want to pay for everything, and they shouldn't have to. It's crazy how women claim to want independence until it comes to money. They want to be strong and independent, but still expect men to foot the bill. It's time to grow up, ladies. There's more to people than money. Let's talk about the concept of 50-50. Women never seem to believe in it until it's time for the divorce settlement. Suddenly, they're all about splitting things evenly. It's pathetic how they try to shame men and manipulate them into paying for everything. But guess what? Anyone with 2 brain cells can see right through it. All we think is that you're a red flag. A man who can pay all your bills, buy you unnecessary things, take care of himself, and live a classy life is rare. Do these women even know the average income of a man? That's why they're all single. They're looking for a daddy instead of a partner. Once they suck a guy dry of his money, they just move on to the next one. Yet, they want to blame us for being cautious of women with this mindset. These are the worst kind of women. They don't want to build with you. They just want to take, take, take. Most women who think they're special are the farthest thing from it. They know exactly what a man is supposed to do, but don't have a clue about how a good woman is supposed to act. It's really pathetic how some women try to shame men into giving them money and providing for them without offering anything substantial in return. They've created a narrative where men are supposed to be their providers and protectors without any reciprocation. But times have changed. Men are waking up and realizing that they deserve better. They deserve a partner who's willing to build a future together, not just someone who's looking to leech off their hard work. If you're a woman who's looking for a man to pay for everything, you need to reevaluate your priorities. Relationships are about partnership, mutual respect, and building a future together. It's not about finding someone to bankroll your lifestyle while you contribute nothing of value. Men are more than just walking wallets. They have feelings, dreams, and aspirations too. They want someone who's going to support them, not someone who's going to drain them financially and emotionally. It's time for women to step up and bring something to the table. And let's not forget the manipulation tactics. Women will often try to shame men by calling them cheap or unmanly if they don't want to pay for everything. But it's all a ploy to get what they want. A real man isn't afraid to set boundaries and stand up for himself. He knows his worth and won't settle for a woman who only sees him as a source of income.
Taxing. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much everything right there, man. Guys, just keep your boundaries. Stay focused on what you guys stay focused on. Of course, we're going to see more and more examples like this. Hopefully, a lot of the things that we're doing will help with women understanding how not to be alone for the rest of their life. Meaning they can be able to turn things around and actually find a man who's going to be a great fit for them, right? And they don't have all these extra expectations to be burdened on them, right? Because even you take a look at Brittany Griner, who for years has been on this type of time that these women were just talking about, right? To switching her tune up to saying that she, really didn't like that she put herself out there like that, and that she wished that she would have handled herself differently to where she could have, been able to get her a husband or whatnot, right? And preserving herself more and not have been with so many different men. So they always come to that wall, like he said. He always hit that wall of realization, of reality check, and coming back into trying to find somebody. But by that time, they're usually a little too old. And it's a little bit more difficult because, a lot of men aren't really checking for you as much as they were when you were younger. In those fertile years of between 18 and 25, 26, 27, you know what I mean? Things like that. So just stay solid on that, on your principles, on your boundaries. And as always, of course, we like to shed a little bit of light, because light creates a understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience, and patience creates unity. So let's get unified in the spirit. And when I see you in the next one, I'm going to see you. This is your host of the Warsheep Podcast, and we'll catch you in the next one. All right. Peace and shalom.